In the future of self-driving cars, more and more of such cars will come to the road, which means you will not need a driver's license. Today we already see you simply order a so-called robotaxi, which comes without a driver. So the automated driving is defined by whether the driver is responsible in a vehicle or is not responsible. So the passengers who are riding in such a self-driving car are not...
We also have the UNECE adopting the first ever global rules allowing fully autonomous vehicles. This regulation mandates safety management systems, credible testing, safety case validation, and continuous in-service monitoring. And they're saying it's backed by the US, China, the EU, Japan, Canada, and the UK. This framework establishes uniform international safety requirements and a common methodology for validating ADS-equipped vehicles. They're saying by preventing fragmented national approaches, the regulation offers clarity for manufacturers, and they're saying the regulation enters into force in about a month. But frankly, in the press release, it's all just boilerplate. And I think at this point, one of the main things to look for in a document like this would be, is it hardware agnostic given Tesla's vision-only bet? And in this case, thankfully, this framework is. So, somewhat surprisingly, there is no requirement for manufacturers to use LiDAR or radars or any hardware for that matter. Ultimately, it's all about just demonstrating the safety. I didn't get to read through the whole document yet, but one thing I did find, the requirements in this regulation are written with the expectation the ADS software does not include the use of online in-vehicle learning that self-modifies system behavior. So my understanding right now, Tesla's OTA updates would be fine. That's because right now, Tesla's doing all of its training and learning outside of the car. And then when they have it ready, they push that static software update to the vehicles and it stays that model until they send a new update. But in the future, as AI continues to advance and proliferate, I would imagine Tesla and maybe other companies would want to do more of that learning on the fly. Maybe not in the next few years, but sometime into the 2030s, I'd imagine this will become a point of contention. So right now, this document is live, but that only means it's been entered in the UN registry. But my understanding is something like this wouldn't be binding on auto manufacturers until countries actually write it into their laws. And so far, that has not happened. But yes, it is true that the United States, led by NHTSA, has been pushing to adopt this framework. So it's somewhat technical, but in principle, the US supports this overarching framework. But again, until the US actually adopts it or any part of it into national law, then it's not really binding on any auto manufacturers. Said another way, the US did help to write this framework. They did also vote to establish it internationally, but they have not yet taken any actual adoption or implementation steps. And the most likely steps from here is that over time, parts of this framework could be added to those FMVSS standards. So again, the easiest way to understand what this is and what it is not, this is a GTR from the UN, a global technical regulation, which is a framework that many countries have already debated about and decided to put into force when it comes to autonomous vehicles. But again, having something in force like this does not mean that it's law in any country. So every single country still needs to look at this overarching framework that is in force and then pick and choose what and how they want to write into their own laws. So just hypothetically, the United States might adopt 20% of it or 80% of it or all of it. We just have to wait and see. But of course, to have major players around the world talking about autonomous vehicles and developing frameworks like this is exactly where we need to start. But now we wait and see how actual adoption and law changes in the months ahead. I will have the official document below if you want to take a look.